Alison Donnelly, the subject is science, the school is Lytham St Anne's High School and I'm an assistant head teacher here. I looked for a metacognition teaching programme because as part of my research appraisal we'd been looking at improving the performance of our pupil premium students. From looking through our evaluations of teaching and learning in the school, we found that we were not explicit enough in our teaching of metacognitive strategies that enabled our PP students to perform at their best. Our other students were performing at their best, but we weren't hooking on to that knowledge of those students to be able to pass on to the PP students. As part of my CPD, I'd been looking at how our students best learn. And something that I said earlier is that our PP students, our pupil premium students, weren't necessarily engaging with their learning as well as they could be. However, we did have many other students that were. So we wanted to transfer those skills, but it was hard to pinpoint what those skills were. So this course I looked for specifically to enable me to understand the strategies of what our PP students don't have, to be able to teach them how to do that. That underpins with our whole school strategy. We're looking as a school, we focus on reading and metacognition as part of our teaching and learning progress, but ultimately it is to improve the progress of our pupil premium students. I found this course absolutely perfect for me, and the reason it was perfect for me is that I'm a busy single mum. So I don't have much time. It's hard for me to calendar time to actually do something at a specific time. So this enabled me to drop in and drop out of all the resources when I needed to. That enabled me to have that flexible learning. And that has really made a difference, and that's why I would highly recommend this. It also meant I could pause and stop at any given moment and come back in again. Compared to a traditional inset, this enabled me to have the flexibility that I needed. Traditional inset, I find it very rewarding to work with others, but also for this particular area, it needed to be me on my own to find out these strategies, to work out a plan, an action plan for our school. The course materials were great. I found it incredibly useful to have actual strategies of how to teach metacognition and how to do that in any classroom, whatever subject you may teach. I also had a long time to be able to reflect, to be able to work out what was needed as a school and how we were going to deliver metacognition across the whole teaching curriculum. There was one area in the course that really stood out to me that I hadn't considered at all before, and that was looking at natural biases and cultural experiences and how those affect your ability to learn metacognitively. That area was incredibly useful to me and something that I will use with all my staff of what certain experiences make you feel about a learning experience, and therefore how we can remove those natural biases to enable all students to learn. My definition of metacognition has changed throughout the course. At first I was just aware of it being thinking about thinking. I wasn't really entirely sure what that meant, but throughout the course it's made me consider why we think that way, why different individuals think a certain way, and how we can actually build on strategies to think differently, to consider really how to tackle a challenging question and how we can help each other do that, but how we can talk about our learning. The metacognitive talk section was very, very useful and something that we will look at implementing for a half term, of looking at how we talk about our learning.